What up guys, it's the Total Wars Master back here for another Napoleon Total War video. Today is me and my friend in this replay. So to go over armies, he has 2 Chasseurs de Cheval, 4 Lancer units, regular general staff, 4 Voltigeurs, a militia to the front, some Swiss, Fusiliers, and Old Guard. Which you will see I have 2 Lancers and 2 Chasseurs de Cheval on this flank, a Lancer on the other flank, 4 Voltigeurs to the front, some Fusiliers, Swiss, the Brave, Polish Legion, Swiss, nothing too special, and of course a singular Old Guard. My opponent is Prussia, along with the other player being Prussia too. There are 4 foot guards, a 12-pounder, some Fusiliers and Silesian Schützen, musketeers, as well as lancers and hussars, while the other Prussian player has Jägers, Silesian Schützen, Jäger, and Silesian Schützen, along with a 6-pounder foot artillery. Me and my ally are sending a huge swarm of cavalry to this side, with a goal of trying to break through. Our opponent has a lancer, 2 lancers, and 2 dragoons to defend this. So, let's speed it up until something interesting happens. I am the foremost bearer of this flank in terms of cavalry. I send in some lancers as a vanguard force. He forms square, but that's really not too much necessary. I primarily win a lot on this cavalry charge. Gunfire erupts as my Chasseurs de Cheval shoot my own men in the back, sadly enough. But now I have cleared the way for the cavalry fight to begin, and for my ally and me to try and push past these.
Our men are running, sir!
Which is largely what happens. Dragoons get shot to wee little bits. Sadly, my men do not actually click for a charge, which basically destroys that unit. But we have forced our way with a large French cavalry contingent. Paid forth with my cavalry's life, but there is a huge amount of cavalry and lancers behind the opponent. And because French lancers are superior upon the charge and by morale, we have a huge advantage back here. Sadly, my men keep trying to walk when I really need them to run. And they'll probably turn around as this charge comes in. They try to, but I do not will it. So right now this is a huge problem for our opponents, because having so many lancers behind you that you cannot effectively deal with is a huge threat, of course. The Prussian lancers take a big charge to the rear. They stay themselves, but they have heavily depleted numbers. We are not moving our infantry too much, as this threat right here is the glaring problem that they have. If we apply pressure somewhere, there is little they can do about it, because if they try to advance us or we advance upon them, there is cavalry to threaten their every possible move. My ally has a large portion of his cavalry intact. While a large portion of mine died, it did not die in vain. His cavalry is heavily damaged, and we have the super strong force behind them. For their cannonade over here, for example, they have to keep a large detachment of men in reserve to make sure we don't charge it. Although Prussian 12-pounders are fairly poor, with rather bad accuracy and reloading compared to France, or British 9-pounders, for example. And now we have a general advance of the infantry coming in. He has, for example, over here, so many men devoted to this cavalry. Right now he has nothing protecting this entire flank other than having to bring these men back. Although he is trying to use his horse artillery to weaken these cavalry units up. Although I don't know why he's exactly forming diamond with his lancers. Because in my experience, when you form diamond and try and charge against other lancers, it does more damage than you can do. Because the men on both sides will be charged as a wider lancer pattern pincers in. Or if it hits the flank. So now we have a fairly rapid advance. Of course, on this side, due to all of his elites, I have an advantage there in terms of raw troop numbers, which my opponent is in a very bad position now, as his foot guards have a large number of cavalry behind them. Although I have made sure to keep my chasseurs à cheval on this side for a light threat, along with my lancers over here. His men get fire on my voltigeurs. However, considering 2 Prussian Fusiliers and Silesian Schutzen are shooting at them, it's not large of a threat. His foot guards are in squares, some return some shots. However, what my primary objective now is to do is use my voltigeurs as sort of meat shield, if you will. Absorb shots, make way as my general infantry move in to engage.
Our men are running, sir!
I believe that is a voltigeur unit which runs. And right now we have a huge mess of infantry. I am bringing my Swiss foot
Our
around.
men are running, sir!
We have a wide flanking maneuver happening. My men are firing as much as they can. The Prussian general is extremely weak. A single overshot bullet may make them rout. A general staff will rout on 3. The dragoons of this Prussian player are moving to engage.
Our men are running, sir!
More of my voltigeurs run, however his foot guards over here have just shattered. I am now moving in Polish Legion and Swiss foot heavily to flank. We are able to rout the Prussian general. My men over here are getting shot at. I'm more so hoping that this cavalry can try and resolve that. Especially as his 12-pounder is doing awful work to me. These foot guards are taking a true beating. But this opponent right here, by our combined cavalry arms, is melting like butter. Why these Prussian hussars are focusing on this cavalry that will not be around long, only to get shot at by fusiliers, I do not know. As more and more of this Prussian flank collapses, it puts us only in a better and better position. There's a large contingent of foot guards on this flank. But I do have reserve cavalry, both back here and over here. I tried to move this flank over rapidly, although I don't know if I see these foot guards actually. My Voltigeurs are coming back. My old guard is pretty healthy. This militia unit is also fairly healthy. This 6-pounder horse artillery, a lot of times if it is just targeted clicked, it will not often target the main portion of the unit. Instead it'll just target the flank, and I think that's all that's happening right there. It's getting the 1 or 2 guys in the flank. This flank right here that the Prussian player has, he should be bringing it in. This foot should be flanking. And the foot guards actually breaks from all that. Sadly, I do not believe we saw that these Jaegers came back, which will be a pain. So why I'm forming square right here is your men shoot further in square. And I'm hoping that I can get them to break with just a few shots in square, which I actually do. This 12-pounder is being a royal pain though. I should probably be advancing my men in more aggressively. I do not know where I am microing at. Really, I should be using these chasseaux or cheval and charging that general staff. The Polish Legion is decent at melee though, considering neither of us got really much of an advantage there. That is good for me. Although, instead of pushing his advantage on this flank, it appears he's bringing them back to try and rally this flank, I guess? Which isn't awful. But now he's just weaker on this flank too though, so now my ally is stronger on that flank. So that's really why that dominant cavalry position of collapsing a player is so strong, is because it means we can just steamroll that one player and now we have 2 players against 1. Which isn't unwinnable, but it is definitely difficult. This square is taking heavy casualties. My old guard nearby is not helping them, and like that they run. I'm moving this Polish Legion and the Brave to flank. I don't think I see these Jaegers, but I might also not be concerned with them. Jaegers typically don't inflict that many casualties, and as a whole they're typically not always worth thinking or engaging about. I'm charging in my Lancers, buying my ally some crucial time that he needs. This is a very risky play per se.
Batterie zu Befehl. Befehle.
But now I'm falling on this flank how we need to. The Prussian artillery has routed for the 12 pounders. The 6 pounders are back here. I pull back my lancers, but now my ally is in a strong position. He has 2 old guard over here to try and absolutely roll this flank. I might be fairly weak on this flank, but right now I'm distracting the additional resources to free up this flank. I try and spread out my lines more. Try and take advantage of more firepower that I can gain that way, although these Jaegers are still
Our
shooting.
men are running, sir.
And I'm not doing a good job at bringing up these Voltigeurs. But I presume he will use canister shot if he can against my old guard there. Yes. Which is a good play.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
And now I am running low on ammo, but this flank is being turned, which is what matters. He is going to charge in his general staff. Form that last minute square. And there goes that Prussian general, which really hurts these remaining men over here. That was a bold play. For the best possible results, it was definitely not worth it, or at least not that regiment especially. I mean, that one was fairly full at the time he charged. And like that, in large numbers, they are routed.
Is soon to be yours.
Splendid. This foot guard unit breaks. And of course, I still have the chasseurs or cheval in reserve. Very little remains. But that's basically it, guys. Really, just supporting your ally goes a long way to making sure you can win. That 2v1 with a large portion of my allies' cavalry, which basically made a 2v1, led to the quick collapse of this player, which meant this player over here had to both contend with me, even though I wasn't in the strongest position, and my ally. And that overwhelming power, along with the destruction of most of their cavalry together, it was just a deadly combo. I believe right now one of the players was dropping. But either way, this is a wrap for this video today, guys. Thank you for watching.